What's going on, YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition to my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're talking about the Batman Detective Comics 2025 annual #1, which indicates we'll probably get an annual #2 later on in the year. But yeah, so this one is a pretty standalone issue. It doesn't really connect much with what's going on in Tom Taylor's run, much like the World's Finest one from last week, which was just kind of directly like part 3 of that particular storyline going on. This is a pretty standalone thing. You haven't had to have read like anything else really to kind of get into this thing. There's 2 storylines in this one, different artists and different writers on this one than what's kind of going on in the main run right now. But I must say, I actually did thoroughly enjoy this annual. Sometimes I'm in the mood for just whatever the like other kind of like random standalone adventures like Batman's going to be going on, or just the people of Gotham. There's something that just kind of made me think of those like standalone episodes of Batman the Animated Series, or something akin to that. Just a simple case, and it's fun to kind of go along with the journey, because Batman's not always going off against like fighting his villains like Joker, Riddler, Two-Face, Clayface, Catwoman, or anything like that. Sometimes you just have little side cases that he's going to work on, and this feels like just one of those like side cases that he's got to do. So, and if you enjoy those things and you enjoy the mystery aspect of it all, I think you'll come away pretty satisfied with this one. So as the story begins, he goes to investigate the death of this billionaire, and it says, "Batman, do not solve my murder." And that kind of leaves you intrigued and wondering what's going to be going on with this thing. And Batman does his investigations, finds some things that are a little bit off. You see something here about like how to end the universe. And, there's this doctor he goes to meet, and eventually you're going to find out the partner was involved in some sort of capacity. There's some magic angles going on with this thing too. And basically what it comes down to is they had some sort of equations that could basically like control different aspects of the universe. He gets them programmed into his phone, and then he kind of ends up trapped in some sort of time sphere. And, it's up to Batman to kind of like, save this woman's life and whatnot. And he also is kind of left with a little bit of a dilemma about this thing. Like, these equations, like, there's something really powerful about it. And he just kind of decides, maybe I should just destroy it. But part of him also kind of wants to know, like how it'll end. So like there's something kind of intriguing about that, but it's a fun storyline. Like I said, there's a lot more moving pieces than that, but it wraps itself up nice and well. And then the backup storyline is about Batman and this 7th grader detective named David, who's at school. You have these kids who are getting like kind of laced almost with scarecrow like fear toxin. And so this kid is there to kind of try and figure out what's going on. He's a bit of an outcast, and like he's trying to see what's really going on with this thing. Eventually Batman does show up, and it's Batman kind of teaming up with this kid, and I like that aspect. It's nice to see Batman just kind of there, like, teaching kids some detective stuff, and showing kind of the kinder like side of Batman as well. Just this kid's just like he saw something kind of pinged on his stuff about some mischievous natures going on, and eventually he does kind of determine that because this place used to like exist on an old scarecrow, like one of his old labs was on there may have been some excess like chemicals kind of like circulating through there, and that's what's been getting the kids sick. But eventually Batman does something to kind of offset that, and because the kid was there like staying late and investigating because he thought some more mischievous stuff was going on, Batman decides to kind of give him a ride home in the Batmobile, which is really kind of cool, really kind of fun, really like kind of warm and like compassionate to it all. So this storyline was written by Joshua Hale Fialkov, and Mike Norton is on the artwork. And for the other storyline, which is the more kind of meaty one, who wrote that? Let me check really quickly right here, see if it has the credits listed within the issue. Skimming through. There it is. So Al Ewing is the writer, and Stefano Raffaele, Josh McCrea, and Fico Osio are the artists on this thing. So again, this is a pretty standalone issue, so anyone can kind of pick this thing up from the get-go. But sometimes I'm in the mood for something like this. I mean, this is Detective Comics. I like when Batman has kind of standalone cases, and I'm kind of along for the mystery, and I got to sit there and try and figure it out. I like the backup storyline with him and the kid. Again, there's something kind of innocent about that too. And, having Batman just do kind of those more I guess heartwarming aspects too, like just kind of this moment where he like helps the kid out or helps him solve a case and kind of leads him hopefully on an inspiring path for like this kid's future. Not sure if we'll ever see these characters appear in anything else really ever again after this, but again, Gotham's a big city. it's, again, these are kind of the smaller cases that Batman has to kind of deal with, and I like that. Like, there's something just kind of relaxing about this type of storyline where I don't have to follow along for like 20 issues or something like that. Sometimes just a good standalone thing, and that kind of wraps itself up in a nice neat bow, is, well, really all you need. So again, I thoroughly enjoyed this thing. I think it's a pretty strong annual. I thought the mysteries were good enough, and again, it's a good solid standalone like comic book issue of Detective Comics. And again, Detective Comics, like, you want to see Batman's detective aspects, you want to see him solve things, and you don't always need things to drag on for like 20 issues or something like that. Sometimes it's good to have just a standalone thing where anybody can jump on at any point and just kind of get invested in like what the story is trying to do and the mystery aspect of it all. So I thoroughly enjoyed this one. So yep, thumbs up for me. And yeah, that's going to be it for this particular video. This is kind of the last issue from last week that I didn't have a chance to catch up on. I got one more, like, one for this week, which is the 5th at the time of recording this, for the latest issue of Batgirl. So that'll be this week's DC stuff. So I'll be all caught up with the DC books. Then I got some like Godzilla books I want to get caught up on. But, you know, I'm not in really a rush to kind of get things done. So yeah, there you go. Those are my quick thoughts on it. What did you think of this issue? Post your comments down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, hit that bell for notifications, all the other fun stuff, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.